Okay, this video is based on figure 1.2 in section 1 of your CDL manual. Now, sometimes figure 1.2 can be a little bit confusing. So what I've done here is I've broken it down to what is required for a school bus driver. So in future videos, I'll do other videos for other types of drivers, but this is for the school bus driver. So what I have here is figure 1.2, which states what do you need to study to become a school bus driver in terms for what is needed to pass the written exams. So let me just break this down. You have written exams, they call them knowledge tests, and you also have what are called skills tests. So the skills tests are things that you actually do. These are actions that you perform. They don't require that you give a correct answer. You have to demonstrate your knowledge. So there's no writing involved, and there's no computers. It's you go and you show them. Well, for example, when you're doing a vehicle inspection test, this is a skills test. You go and you start showing the components of the vehicle that you're driving and the function that they have and what condition they should be in and what could possibly be wrong with each component. The vehicle control skills test, or the vehicle skills test, shows essentially, do you know how to back up a vehicle a certain way? Do you know how to park a certain way? I think there's about 3 basic vehicle control skills tests that you need to take. And finally, you take the on-road driving test. Now, these tests don't occur until after you take the written exams. The written exams are the knowledge tests. So in this particular case, I've broken it down into 2 groups. You've got I call it the core. The core is your general knowledge written exam. That's 50 questions, okay? So we're just going to focus on what is required for a school bus driver. That's going to be a Class B license. If you want to learn how do you determine whether it's a Class A, Class B, Class C, you need to look at figure 1.1. We're not going to go into that right now. We're just going to discuss what you need to study in terms of what you need for the written exam to pass the school bus driver to get that type of CDL. So really, it's really quite simple. For your core, for your general knowledge, that's 50 questions. You need to study the introduction section. For introduction, that's section 1. That's going to be 5 subsections. You also need to study driving safely. That is section 2. That's 23 subsections. That's a really large section, so it's going to take a lot of study to cover that amount of material. And also section 3, which is transporting cargo safely. That has 4 subsections. Now, what you want to do is you want to check your CDL manual for those 3 sections and see if those sections have tests. I think with most of the state manuals, most of them have the questions for section 2. Some states have questions for, this is my experience, some states have questions for section 1 and section 3. Some don't. Now that could have changed, but for example, my state, the last time I checked, now I could be wrong, but it only had questions in the section 2. But I was looking at the Maryland CDL manual, and it has questions for section 1 and section 3 and section 2. Okay, so that's the core element. Get your general knowledge. Once you pass that 50 questions, then I suggest you go on to the ancillary, which is your endorsement exams. So, for example, for a school bus driver, there are 2 endorsement exams that are required. The passenger endorsement exam and the school bus endorsement exam. So, in this graphic here, it tells you what do you need to study to pass the passenger endorsement exam. That's 20 questions. It says right here. Again, there's 23 subsections. So you're actually studying that for 2. You're studying section 2 for 2 tests, for your passenger and for your general knowledge. So it's very important that you really study this section well. And then you study section 4, which is this PAX is an abbreviation for passengers. So transporting passengers safely. I believe that has 4 subsections. Now, your particular manual for your state may differ slightly, so you want to go ahead and take a look. But that would cover the passenger exam. Now, the next thing you'd have to study is the school bus exam, or the school bus endorsement exam. That's going to be section 10. That, I believe, has 7 subsections. So it's more than, say, section 1 or section 3, but about the same of both of them combined. So that once you get your written exams out of the way, then I believe there's a period of time, about 10 days to 2 weeks. I'm not sure exactly what the amount of time is, but you just can't take the written exam and then jump and take the skills test. I believe there's a period of time between those two. But you will be issued what's called a commercial learner permit that you can use to in the interim period as your driver's license. And then what you do is once you have to know how to do a vehicle inspection and how to read off the list of things that you need to do, demonstrating to the examiner physically what you need in terms of how the vehicle should operate, and naming components and the condition of how they should be and what they do and what can potentially go wrong with them. So if the examiner is satisfied that you know what you're talking about, he'll just say stop, and then you'll go on to the next part, which will be the basic vehicle control skills test, which I believe is 3 tests. Shows how you demonstrate that you know how to park and back up and those types of things. And then you have the on-road driving test, where you actually take your vehicle on the road, your bus, and the examiner rides with you, and the examiner tells you where to go on the road, and we'll even ask you questions. My bus examiner had me pull over when I was on the interstate ramp, and the examiner asked me a question, which I think it was a test question. Just wanted to know where I might put my emergency lights if I had to, or emergency triangles, if I had to pull over there. So he's looking for the correct answer. And then once you demonstrate that you know the material, you know what you're doing, the examiner will give you essentially a little note that has the signature on. You take that back to the quote DMV, and then you go to the next step, which is, I believe, getting your photograph taken for your license, your CDL, and also you pay the license fee. So I'll be doing other videos. This is for the school bus driver CDL exam. I think becoming a school bus driver is a great way to get your CDL because, number one, they provide you with the training, and number two, they let you use a vehicle. In most cases, they'll let you use their school bus to get the second part of your to do the vehicle skills test. That's basically a great way to get your foot in the door. And if you want to, after you get some experience, you can transition to other types of driving jobs that potentially pay more money. All right. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you've liked this video, please give me a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know what you think about the video in the comments. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.